Good morning. I'm here with Shirley. She's the HR director of PMI, a metals processing facility in Bloomer that does amazing metal work for all sorts of things. They are local, they employ, they have a big reach. We're going to learn what they do in mechatronics. So Shirley, what's your role at PMI and what does PMI do?
Good morning, Tim. I'm going to start with what PMI does. PMI, as you indicated, is a metal manufacturing company located in Bloomer. We're about 30 miles north of Eau Claire. We work with both hot and cold rolled steel. It's called coil processing. We do stamping and we do metal fabrication. Metal fabrication includes punching, burning, bending, welding, and assembly. My role is human resources, training, and safety. The major part of my role is that human component, the recruitment, the hiring, the training and development of new and senior employees within the company. We have a career path for all of our employees that allows them to not just have a job with PMI, but a career with PMI. We have a full maintenance department. And in that maintenance department, we have employees who I would be looking to the mechatronics program for the skill when I would be hiring into that department.
Okay, well, excellent. And what's the outlook in metal stamping, forming, fabricating? What's your industry look like, or specifically your company's outlook?
In general, the metal manufacturing business has been growing. Specifically, PMI's growth has been phenomenal in the last few years, and we expect that to continue each year moving forward. We have expanded our footprint in the last few years. We've added into the building, and we are anticipating either an additional add or possibly an acquisition somewhere in the next 5 years. Because of the growth that we're experiencing, we have, excuse me, a very diverse customer base. And because we have that diverse customer base, that provides for us a number of things. It provides for us the ability to grow in a number of industries and provide parts to a number of industries. We are in automobiles, we are in furniture, we are in HVAC, we're in building, we are in agriculture, and military vehicles. Because we are very diverse, our workforce does not experience the peaks and valleys that a lot of other businesses might experience. For example, if they are just providing metal parts to agriculture, sometimes the world of agriculture has a few years where they take an economic downturn. Because we provide for a number of different industries. When that happens in agriculture, we just pick up business in furniture or HVAC or another industry. It provides stability for our employees and a stable growth pattern for the company.
Okay, so that kind of makes sense that hypothetically, because I'm not into ag, but there's a time where they replace a lot of their equipment.
Correct.
Well, we need a lot more metal parts. Well, now we just all purchase new combines, etc. Then that goes down in the demand. And then you offset that with other products you make for furniture, what you make for military, what you make for who knows what. Anywhere we see metal put into different shapes and forms, that's where PMI is a part of that process.
Correct.
Okay.
We can work with customers in any number of industries.
Yeah, and what would you see the needs for mechatronics students? And it leads into two roles I'll be asking about. One in their maintenance role, we can do a separate question, and one is there something they could do while learning at PMI, such as operating. But what are your needs your company might that fit one of their students?
I'll speak to the mechatronics program first.
Okay.
And I hinted at that when we said we have a maintenance department, and in that maintenance department we have employees who specialize in PLCs and electronics and
Okay.
tool and die, and actual maintenance technician of our equipment. As we project PMI's growth, we also project a need for additional employees in that department. With that also comes the need to have the skill and ability that your program provides. The equipment is not getting more simple, it is becoming more complex. The technology is becoming more complex. We have different areas where we have computers in the work centers, and we have robotics in more than one work center. So someone with the knowledge, the skill and ability to work with the complicated equipment
Okay.
is what I'd be looking for.
Sure. It's
So,
always increasing. Yeah, go ahead.
so in the meantime, we also hire into all of those work centers. And preferably when I hire into my maintenance department or my maintenance engineering department, I would also be looking for someone who has knowledge of those work centers, the equipment, the safety, the electrical components. And if I can find someone that has actually run a piece of that equipment, has run my cut to length line, run a press, a coil fed or a hand fed press, worked at a press brake, run a laser or a punch, they then have added a level in their skill that I'd be looking for. So it never hurts to start when you're in school by working in one of the other work centers to get a feel for that equipment.
Yeah, we find that when we teach troubleshooting, we do it in kind of some simulation, some small component level, if you want to call it that way, smaller functions. And then when they get on the machines, they have all the blocks, but they find it hard because they're not fluent at running that machine that we have out here. Because they've seen the components of it. They've seen the PLC, the power supply, the sensors, the mechanics. But altogether, it changes quite a bit because if you don't know how the machine works, then it's very tough to troubleshoot. Obviously, you have operators to talk to, but to know it, to know what I have to do to turn on my headlights or to start the car. If I don't know that sequence, then troubleshooting gets really bogged down. So very good point. Yeah.
It is invaluable, the knowledge base that they can create by working hands-on, just like you've said.
Yeah, it's very true. And what openings do you see in the now or in the near future for mechatronics or for operators? If that's the title you use, I don't.
Right. In general, I see the future of someone in that program as basically the world is your oyster.
Wow.
Because in the past 10 years, in a couple of different places that I worked, this is the skill set we are always looking for. And because we're always looking for this particular skill set, I just anticipate that anyone that comes out having learned what your program can teach them would be someone who would not wait to be hired. I would anticipate that interviews and job offers could occur before they even graduated your program.
Yeah, and we've actually seen that, and that segue is good to what makes a good applicant and a good interview. What are those qualities?
Any number of things can make that perfect applicant. I think that the skills they can learn in the mechatronics program and many of the other programs that CVTC offers are invaluable. Those are math, measurement. Can you read a ruler? Can you use some measuring equipment like a caliper and a micrometer?
Okay.
Can you do problem solving? Is that something that you have an aptitude for? Are you a critical thinker? Do you have that mechanical and that technology or technical aptitude?
Mhm.
Because what they learn today is going to be different 5 years from now. Equipment, software, technology changes. So they
Mhm.
have to have some of that aptitude to be able to change with the industry. The attention to detail. And then there are those soft skills that I look for. Because many times when I'm hiring into a work center, I am not finding candidates that have experience. So PMI has put together a program where we are willing to train you in the work centers, in the technical abilities,
Okay.
to run a press brake, to run a laser, to run a hand-fed coil press. But we're still looking for that attention to detail, that dependability. Will you be here every day? And will you be here on time?
Mhm.
Are you willing to learn? And can you retain what you've learned? Do you have good communication skills, good people skills? That will take you a long way. And then I look for a strong work history. I look for someone who has put in some time in some of their previous work experiences. And they don't necessarily have to be in manufacturing, but
Okay.
I don't want a job hopper.
Mhm. So not a lot of 6-month jobs, 8 months, somebody who's held time. Obviously, if they're
Right.
18 and they've worked part-time through high school, that's understood. But if you're, 28, 42 years old, looking for a different history of that.
Correct. And
Yeah.
I always say to that 18-year-old or that 19-year-old,
Mhm.
the things that you've done in your life, any volunteering that you've done, any programs or groups that you've been involved in high school or in advance at CBTC, those groups and being involved in those to me are as important as some work history that you might present. Have you gone out of your way to provide back into your school, back into your community, back into the programs at CBTC? That shows me that you are someone who things more than just the paycheck matter to.
Sure. It's easy to say I'll do 110%.
Mhm.
But if I'm involved in my church, the scouts, different leagues or teams, or I do something beyond in the community, um, that shows that 110%, rather
Correct.
than I work simply the hours assigned. And if you don't assign me, I do nothing. Yeah, yeah,
Correct.
yeah. I just sit at home. Um, you know, how should someone apply, and is there a wrong time to apply for work?
There is never a wrong time to apply.
Okay.
And if I have an applicant who is looking for a very specific work center or a very specific job title, I am not opposed to maintaining that application on file and recontacting them when something were to come up. So there's never a wrong time to apply.
Okay.
And the easiest way is to go to our website. That not only will show all the applicants a little bit about our company, who we are,
Mhm.
and some of the things that are important to us beyond just putting metal out the door. You'll find some of those things on our website. But it's a very easy application process on our website, pmillc.com.
Okay. Well, that's very interesting. One advice I give is while websites list positions open often, I tell them I've never paid attention to that. Yeah, I'm just going to send an application in because I've learned we never know when somebody just decided to retire.
Correct.
So I looked at it today, tomorrow they retire, and I never applied. I'll let
Correct.
you decide. You get it, and you know what you need. You might have a 3-month forecast that's not ready for the website, but you're going to add a line. So the idea of just following the web directly, I put it in the hands of people like you who will best know, but can't always release that because we haven't installed the line yet. So it's too early to start pulling people in.
Never a wrong time.
Yeah, well, fantastic. Well, Shirley, this is fantastic. I think it's just neat to see. And I know you've offered us, and I'm going to take you up on it, bringing some students up to take a tour and be able to see the facility. The last thing I want to add is just something this, and I've heard this, but if you can confirm it, a lot of times people hear about company A, B, or C, and somebody says, well, I don't want to work for that company C. And I tell them, really there is a company, and you may disagree or go in a different direction. I find there's departments, and then the key is, do I fit that department? Whatever they are, whatever the attributes are, working within that work group is one of the biggest keys. Do you find fit is a big factor as well as you find different individuals and for different areas of the company?
I do, but I think one of the main components of fit is whether or not a candidate who's coming into a new company and a new work department is open to new challenges, is open to learning, is open to listening and taking guidance from their team, because that's the team that's going to mentor them to be successful within that work center. An open mind creates a situation for every candidate to be accepted within that work team. And I think that there are very few work teams that wouldn't accept almost anyone who comes in with that really positive attitude about the company, about learning, about making a career with a company like PMI.
That's excellent. Yeah, I've heard it. Another thing I learned, very similar, come into a company, find ways to say yes.
Correct.
Hey, Tim, we want you to work over here. Yes. And I don't know what maybe I'm going into. You want me to grow in this area, so why wouldn't I? It's every company is keyed to make their new employees successful. That's the goal. Right. Yeah.
And I look at employees many times in today, 2020 going into 2021. I don't anticipate that I'm going to hire someone who's going to stay 25 years.
Okay.
So I anticipate that someone maybe new, a grad out of CVTC, is looking for maybe that first step. And they may find that their next career step is with another company. Okay. And if they stay with PMI for 5 years or 8 years or 10 years and decide that their next career step is somewhere else, it is really important to us at PMI that we provide them everything they need to be successful on that next career step, whether it's with us or with another company. Some of the best PR and best marketing that I believe a company can have is when someone leaves, goes to another company and says, I am here and I am the best candidate for you today because of everything that PMI taught me.
Oh, fantastic.
I wish them all the luck. That is the best thing that I can hear from someone who moves on from a company like PMI.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful. Well, Shirley, I want to thank you for taking the time to touch on these questions, give your good answers, and just help our students find their way in these wonderful opportunities that PMI and this entire career has for them. I really appreciate it.
You are so welcome, Tim. And please, I would love to have any and all of your students come tour. Everyone here absolutely opens the door to anyone who wants to come see what we do.
Fantastic. I'll be including with this recording information, how to contact the website, etc. So
perfect.
I appreciate it. Well, thanks so much.
Thank you, Tim. You have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thanks.